Developing in Buffalo tonight, some new insight into how the series of hit and runs by a chief in the Erie County Sheriff's Office is costing taxpayers money. Just last week, we told you how the Erie County Sheriff had wrapped up his internal investigation into Chief of Narcotics DJ Granville, who pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of reckless driving. This stems from the April 2024 incident with Granville crashing a county-owned pickup truck into multiple cars on Buffalo's west side. Witnesses say Granville appeared intoxicated, but police at the scene that night never issued a breathalyzer. Leading those officers was Granville's sister-in-law.
He took an oath to uphold and follow the law like everyone else. He did not do that. The police department didn't do that. Everyone else didn't do that. His lawyer defending him didn't do that. Like, there's right and there's wrong. There's no gray area here. What he did was wrong.
That was a witness who spoke following Granville's guilty plea earlier this month. Granville and the county say they are working with attorneys to recoup taxpayer money paid to individuals and insurance companies for the damage caused that night. That county comptroller, Kevin Hardwick, says could exceed $70,000. But the cost to the city of Buffalo could be much higher. In fact, a new report from the Investigative Post, found the city of Buffalo has paid more than $200,000 to the 5 police officers who responded that night, who were put on paid leave in April, and the total here could cost city taxpayers actually more. Joining me now, Jeff Kelly, the associate editor for Investigative Post and the author of this report. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Your report points to the 5 Buffalo police officers on leave since April, costing taxpayers over $200,000. But you explain in your report that taxpayers could actually be on the hook for more. Take us through that.
Yeah, sure. So since, as you say, since April, the city has paid these officers $204,000 to stay at home. The department has to backfill those shifts, because they have minimum manpower requirements. You can't just say, like, well, now we're down from 6 to 5. So you got to get that 6th person in, and sometimes that costs overtime. So, for example, Lucia Esquilin, Granville's sister-in-law, her absence has incurred over $5,000 in overtime on top of the salary of the lieutenant who's been brought in to backfill her shifts. So, and remember too, they're still on leave. This investigation is still ongoing, and as long as the investigation is ongoing, we're paying these officers to stay at home.
I was going to say, how does that work, and any indication on how long this will continue to be paid out? Because since April, $200,000, you're talking about the overtime, this could really add up.
Yeah, actually, I got to say, since I calculated those numbers, another paycheck has come out. Okay. So, so the cost keeps ticking upward. I've been told by the Buffalo Police Department what Channel 7 has been told and everybody else has been told, which is that they will not conclude their internal investigation until the special prosecutor from Niagara County concludes his investigation. Now, he's concluded his investigation into what Granville actually did, and we got that guilty plea, but the investigation into the Buffalo police response to the incident continues.
He said, the special prosecutor there, the Niagara County DA, on this case, says after Granville's plea, the investigation, as you said, now turns to these officers' response. Could there be criminal charges here for these officers that were involved on that night? And what comes next, I guess, in this process?
Well, that's what the special prosecutor has indicated, that there is the possibility of a criminal charges against the sister-in-law, against Lieutenant Esquilin, not so much against the other 4 officers that she was overseeing. And that's likely because she's the one who signed those incident reports. And perhaps, this is a bit of speculation, but perhaps what the special prosecutor is looking at is the possibility that there were inaccuracies or falsehoods or omissions in those reports that she signed. And that could be filing a false instrument, and that's a crime. Probably maybe a difficult one to prove, but Yeah.
And none of the officers that are on leave have cooperated with the special.
That's right. That's what the special prosecutor, Brian Seaman, has said, that none of them have sat for interviews or answered questions.
It is a story we have been covering, you have been covering very closely. Jeff Kelly, the associate editor of Investigative Post, thanks so much.
My pleasure, Alex.
Interesting report.